This is a declaration of independence given to the natives, indigenous citizens of Haiti on January 1st, 1804 by the General Emperor Jean-Jacques Dessalines in Gonaive. The Commander-in-Chief to the people of Haiti, citizens, it is not enough to have expelled the barbarians who have bloodied our land for 2 centuries. It is not enough to have restrained those ever-evolving factions that one after another mock the specter of liberty that France dangled before you. We must, with one last act of national authority, forever assure the empire of liberty in the country of our birth. We must take any hope of re-enslaving us away from the inhuman government that for so long kept us in the most humiliating torpor. In the end, we must live independent or die. Independence or death. Let these sacred words unite us and be the signal of battle and of our reunion. Citizens, my countrymen, on this solemn day I have brought together those occupations, those courageous soldiers who, as liberty lay dying, spilled their blood to save it. These generals who have guided your efforts against tyranny have not yet done enough for your happiness. The French name still haunts our island. Everything revives the memories of the cruelties of these barbarous people. Our laws, our habits, our towns, everything still carries the stamp of the French. Indeed, there are still French in our island, and you believe yourself free and independent of that republic, which is true, has fought all the nations, but which has never defeated those who wanted to be free. What? Victims of our own credulity and indulgence for 14 years? Defeated not by French armies, but by the pathetic eloquence of their agents, proclamations. When will we tire of breathing the air that they breathe? What do we have in common with this nation of executioners? The difference between its cruelty and our patient moderation, its color and ours, the great seas that separate us, our avenging climate, all tells us plainly that they are not our brothers, that they will never be, and that if they find refuge among us, they will plot again to trouble and divide us. Native citizens, men, women, girls and children, let your gaze extend on all parts of this island. Look there for your spouses, your husbands, your brothers, your sisters, Indeed, look there for your children, your suckling infants. What have they become? I shudder to say it. The prey of these vultures. Instead of these dear victims, your alarmed gaze will see only their assassins. These tigers still dripping with their blood, whose terrible presence indicts your lack of feeling and your guilty slowness in avenging them. What are you waiting for before appeasing their spirits? Remember that you had wanted your remains to rest next to those of your fathers after you defeated tyranny. Will you descend into their tombs without having avenged them? No, their bones would reject you. And you, precious men, intrepid generals, who without concern for your own pain have revived liberty by shedding all your blood, know that you have done nothing if you do not give the nations a terrible but just example of the vengeance that must be wrought by a people to have recovered its liberty and jealous to maintain it. Let us frighten all those who would dare try to take it from us again. Let us begin with the French. Let them tremble when they approach our coast, if not from the memory of those cruelties they perpetrated here, then from the terrible resolution that we will have made to put to death anyone born French whose profane foot soils the land of liberty. We have dared to be free. Let us be thus by ourselves and for ourselves. Let us imitate the grown child. His own weight breaks the boundary that has become an obstacle to him. What people fought us? What people wanted to gather the fruits of our labor? And what dishonorable absurdity to conquer in order to be enslaved? Enslaved. Let us leave this description for the French. They have conquered, but are no longer free. Let us walk down another path. Let us imitate those people who, extending their concern into the future and dreading to leave an example of cowardice for posterity, prefer to be exterminated rather than lose their place as one of the world's free peoples. Let us ensure, however, that a missionary spirit does not destroy our work. Let us allow our neighbors to breathe in peace. May they live quietly under the laws that they have made for themselves. And let us not, as revolutionary firebrands, declare ourselves the lawgivers of the Caribbean. Nor let our glory consist in troubling the peace of the neighboring islands. Unlike that which we inhabit, theirs has not been drenched in the innocent blood of its inhabitants. They have no vengeance to claim from the authority that protects them. Fortunate to have never known the ideals that have destroyed us, they can only have good wishes for our prosperity. Peace to our neighbors, but let this be our cry: anathema to the French name, eternal hatred of France. Natives of Haiti, my happy fate was to be one day the sentinel who would watch over the idol to which you sacrifice. I have watched, sometimes fighting alone, and if I had been so fortunate as to return to your hands the sacred trust you confided to me? Know that it is now your task to preserve it. In fighting for your liberty, I was working for my own happiness. Before consolidating it with laws that will guarantee your free individuality, your leaders, who I have assembled here, and I owe you the final proof of our devotion. Generals and you, leaders collected here, close to me for the good of our land, the day has come, the day which must make our glory, our independence, eternal. If there could exist among us a lukewarm heart, let him distance himself and tremble to take the oath which must unite us. Let us vow to ourselves, to posterity, to the entire universe, to forever renounce France and to die rather than live under its domination, to fight until our last breath for the independence of our country. And you, a people so long without good fortune, witness to the oath we take. Remember that I counted on your constancy and courage when I threw myself into the career of liberty to fight the despotism and tyranny you had struggled against for 14 years. Remember that I sacrificed everything to rally to your defense. Family, children, fortune. And now I am rich only with your liberty. My name has become a horror to all those who want slavery. Despots and tyrants, curse the day that I was born. If ever you refused or grumbled while receiving those laws that the Spirit guarding your fate dictates to me for your own good, you would deserve the fate of an ungrateful people. But I reject that awful idea. You will sustain the liberty that you cherish and support the leader who commands you. Therefore now, vow before me to live free and independent, and to prefer death to anything that will try to place you back in chains. Swear, finally, to pursue forever the traitors and enemies of your independence. This declaration of independence was done at the headquarters of Gonaive, the first day of January 1804, the first year of independence of the nation of Haiti. You see, family, Jean-Jacques Dessalines was a Messiah that came to the island of Haiti, born on the soil, raised on the soil, brought up and trained to become a liberator of his people. He mentioned only citizens, natives, indigenous. He never, not once, mentioned Africans, even though there may have been a few people of African descent on the island. But he was addressing the indigenous people of Haiti, of Haiti, born, their fathers, mothers, great-great-grandfathers' mothers have always been on the land. He never, not once, mentioned Africa. And Africa knows there are no Haitians and there are no Africans in Haiti. Africa knows. The nations know. But as he said, we're not defeated by the French, but we are defeated by the pathetic eloquence of their agents. Since they can't defeat us, they would employ weak Haitians and other nations to confuse and miseducate the people. When the Maroons were revolting in Haiti from 1791, the first things that they destroyed were the Catholic Church, because they knew that the priests were the catalysts for the brainwashing of the people. Okay? And the oath that Dessalines, the Emperor Jean-Jacques Dessalines, took was an oath of freedom, an oath of liberty. This was an oath of love, to live free or die. An oath to never be enslaved by the French or anyone. This was the oath that we took. An oath that would ensure the liberty of the people of the island of Haiti forever. And the oath the French took when they stepped foot on our island, the oath that Europe took when they stepped foot on our island in 1492, was the oath that they made with the devil. They made an oath with the devil to kill, to steal, to destroy the chosen, the sacred, the few hidden among the many. They made an oath with the devil. We made an oath with liberty, with life, and that forevermore. You see? Our win against the French caused Europe to isolate Haiti. You see? And Europe caused all the nations to have a trade embargo on Haiti. They squeezed that nation. They made sure that they will never prosper, have the ability to trade with other nations and grow economically. They all came together against Haiti. Jean-Jacques Dessalines said to look into the islands for your loved ones. Look into the island for your loved ones, your husbands, your brothers, your sisters, your suckling infants. He did not say to look anywhere else, for it was on the island that they were dispersed. He did not say, get on a ship and go to Africa and look for them, for it was on the island that they were killed. It was on the island that they were shipped in other parts of the island. He said, look for them there. There you will find them. He told them, remember that you wanted your remains to rest next to those of your fathers. So if there were slaves that came from Africa, why wouldn't he tell them to go to Africa then, now that you are free? Sail a boat and go to Africa and rest next to your fathers. No, he says, you wanted your remains to rest next to your fathers after you defeated tyranny. The remains of your fathers were on Haiti soil, where they have always been and where they will always be. they made sure that the name of the Emperor Jean-Jacques Dessalines will never again be spoken. Never again be spoken. After his death, they banned for 40 years the mentioning of the name of the Emperor Jean-Jacques Dessalines. If you were caught saying his name, you will be killed. You will be dealt with. Till this day, they would mention Toussaint Louverture. They would mention Henry Christophe. But they would never mention Jean-Jacques Dessalines, because his name brings terror, sheer terror, to everyone who is against liberty, life. For the people of Haiti and for the indigenous people of the world, his name rang terror in the hearts of the colonizers. They would never mention his name. Because if you were to mention the name of Dessalines, those ideals that he stood for would find their way into our minds, into the minds of the Haitian people, and they would rally together again, and they would do and be able to stand up and defeat tyranny once again, as they have done before. And there is a movement going on right now. The people are rising up. The people are coming, are returning to the knowledge of who they are. The spirit of Dessalines is rising on the soil of Haiti, Quisqueya, Bohio. Psalm 83 have taken crafty counsel on the people. If Jean-Jacques Dessalines were to say this declaration today, it would still ring true, because Haiti, in the Bible it says, a nation that is desolate because it has been overrun by strangers, and strangers devour it in the presence of the people. Haiti is the true definition of a desolate nation being devoured by strangers in the presence of the people. We took an oath to remain free. We took an oath to have our liberty. We took an oath to life. So today, I acknowledge the spirit of the greatest general, greatest man that ever lived. May his name ring bells on on all the quarters of the earth, all four of them. May the name of Jean-Jacques Dessalines be aroused in the east. May his name be aroused in the west. May the name of Jean-Jacques Dessalines be aroused up north. And may his name be aroused in the south. May his name revive the people that are dead. May his name be once again be uttered among the people of Haiti and the people who stand for life, liberty, and that more abundantly. The people who are against tyranny and bondage. May the name of Jean-Jacques Dessalines rings in your ear today. Remember Haiti. Remember the mother of liberty. Remember your enemies. Anathema to the French forever. Today, as the world celebrates their fake New Year, Haiti still dealing with mental slavery, still dealing with enemies within. But Haiti stand a free nation in the face of tyranny, in the face of hate, even from its own people, in the face of everything. Haiti stand free till this day, on the backs and the bloods of the ancestors, the ancestors who fought and gave everything, fortune, husbands, mothers, everything they gave for their people to never again live in bondage and slavery and tyranny. May the spirits of the ancestors rise up from the land and from every land where people are found that are in bondage. Rise up, people. Rise up as they celebrate their fake New Year. We celebrate freedom. We celebrate liberty. And we celebrate life. The Declaration of Independence of 1804, January 1st, given in Gonaive by the Emperor, the one and only, whose name brings fear in the hearts of haters of liberation. Jean-Jacques Dessalines. May your name live forever and forever and forever and forever.